Hi, I'm the Moorlander and this is Moorlander EDC, continuing 2024 with most requested pieces of content. This is a smock that I have been testing out and I know you guys have seen it and it's one that you've asked about. So here we have today the Varusteleka Sarma TST L4 Recon Smock. Now, it's a bit of a mouthful. I won't lie, it's a bit of a mouthful. So from now on, I'm just going to refer to this as the Recon Smock. Now, I made a piece of content November time on another company's smock, and I have this little system that I use to kind of garner what sort of opinions I get towards different pieces of clothing, and I thought, you know, I'd start to introduce this a little bit more. So imagine this as a triangle. There are 3 points. Some of these points on here may be more important, but generally they will tend to sway around these, and then you can kind of gauge, or you can decide you know, what it is or how you want to be able to rate this. So the first one that we're going to have a look at today is durability. Now, as far as durability is concerned, this one has it like an Abrams tank. So this is made from a poly cotton blend. It is a ripstop material and also has a DWR coating on this. So if you're out in a light shower, the water will repel from this. You can kind of give it a bit of a shake and it will come off and it will stop it from impregnating into this, which will, you know, then make you wet and then probably cold. So very good for that. On the harder wear areas, like here on each of the elbows, there is a Cordura piece of material. It's a 500D piece of Cordura. Now there are a few different colours on this. I have to try and remember. This is hopefully, as you can see, this is the green version. If it is that you pick up the MO, the Finnish MO5 camo, which I think it is, then they do use a slightly different company, but you know, it's a very similar ballistic style nylon. All of the hardware on here, so all of the buttons. All the buttons, hopefully, as you can see, these are all Canadian buttons. The way that the Canadians did their buttons, rather than having the 4 pieces of cotton that go through with a standard button, instead they have a piece of ribbon that goes through there as well. Adding to that durability, you tend to find that a Canadian button will last a lot longer than normal buttons. All of the zippers on here are they're just massive, and that's what I also like about this, that they've kind of over-engineered or made things larger than they need to be. All of the buttons, especially the buttons down here on the front, they're not just little tiny buttons that I like with my Finnish hands. None of that. These are all huge buttons, huge zips, so if you need to be able to get into this, it's very easy to do. Also very easy to do when you're wearing gloves. And all of the I missed the pull then for a second. That was user error, not the zip error. But yes, all of the zips on here, rather than just using like a size 4 or 5 zip, these are really nice large zips. Is there a size on this? This is a size 9 zip, which as I say, you know, just make sure it's a lot smoother and a lot easier to operate, especially if you're wearing gloves. Now the next point on the triangle is adaptability, and as far as a smock is concerned, it is designed to be a 100% adaptable jacket. Smocks were originally made for the agricultural kind of workers, that it was something that they could put on over the top, and this continues with that. The smock was later adopted by the military and outdoors people after the military, because they tend to gravitate towards hard wearing items and garments that they can trust. This has everything that you'd expect and more from a modern day smock. So pockets wise, it has the typical kind of 4 pocket layout, which I mean, I say 4, it's actually 8 pockets. The pockets on here, so rather than just your standard pockets, these are rollover pockets. Difference again between a rollover pocket is that a normal pocket just has the flap on the top that lifts. These pockets extend into the flap, so as you're closing the flap, you're actually closing an extra piece of material over the top. So at the bottom here, there are 2 farmer style pockets which are accessed from the top. Behind each of those, and I keep doing this, so I will point, and you'll notice me doing this. So I keep going to the top to find the zips. I don't know if it's a, well, I don't know actually. Is it a Finnish thing? Comment below. So generally with all of these zip pulls, the zipper pulls are at the bottom and you pull up to open. The vast majority of garments that I've tried before in the past tend to be at the top and you zip them down to open them. In fact, I've checked this against a few other smocks and this is the only smock that does it this way. It's not a bad thing, it's just an observation and muscle memory because I keep going here instead of here. So yes, behind, and I've done it again, there you go. So behind each of the lower farmer style pockets you then have two shooter pockets. The difference with these shooter pockets is inside the main pockets this is backed with the same polycotton material, whereas here at the bottom this has this really nice tough mesh material. That means that yes, you can still use it a pocket. If you've got dirty items and gloves that you don't want to put into your main pocket, you can put into there and all of the bits of crap and stuff will kind of drop out of the bottom. Or if it is that you're out walking and maybe you've got your Bergen on or something with a waist strap, you can open these up, which will allow some air to come through as well. Moving up then, we then have two chest pockets which are actual double pockets. Same again with each of these, you have a large Canadian button on these and then these are also fold over pockets which are, you know, great for get access to your keys and stuff. And then behind each of these you then have two zip down pockets, which I'm glad I just touched to remember that the fact that the zippers are at the bottom. So you can pull these open nice and easy. And so as far as the pockets are concerned on this part, these pockets are huge. Ridiculously huge. They don't need to be this big, but I'm glad that they are. So if you wanted to put a map, you could put several maps. You could put Google Maps in here. They are that big. So there is a seam just here. So that is the bottom of this pocket, which is also the waistband on the inside. And then the pocket goes all the way up to the shoulder seam up here, and then into the seam in the armpit, and then around to the side. You can fit a lot in here. Now on the back there's also an additional pocket, which I have just took this off for a second, hopefully as you'll see. As again, you know, this is designed as a military garment. If there are periods where you're lying prone for a while, then, you know, there might be uncomfortable things that are sticking into your legs. So you have this rear butt pocket. The rear butt pocket on this has 3 buttons to hold this down. I think that's done specifically because on the inside here, if I open this up into the pocket, hopefully you'll be able to see that it has these dividers in here, which you can completely take out if you want to, if you don't want those in there. But what those dividers allow you to do is put 3 magazines, you know, with the those special pew pellets. In fact, as I bring this round here, hopefully you'll be able to see where each of those parts are. But yes, you can put some ammunition into this, or if you're out walking for the day, you can put your gloves into there. It's really good for gloves and just little bits and bobs that you just need quick access to. The zip on the front has a large rain hood, so if you're out and you know you're in a light rain, then it will just stop some of that water coming through. The polycotton material that this is made from, although I mentioned it has a DWR coating to this, if you want to, you can wax this. It is permeable by most modern waxes. So if you want to do it old school with like a proper genuine wax and then you heat it, it will work with that. If you want to go kind of new school and get something like a tech wash and a nick wax, then you can do that to this as well, and it will add to the amount of water that this will repel before eventually getting through to you underneath. So depending on what you are using this for, so I am usually a UK large, but with this I opted for the extra large, which is only just an extra little bit larger than a normal large. But what it means is it allows me to wear a mid layer underneath this. Now generally you'll tend to find with a lot of smocks that they aren't insulated, unless you go for something more like a mountain smock, which will have some sort of insulation in there, but there's no insulation to this. On the inside Hopefully you'll see on both sides here, there's no internal pockets. It's not designed to have internal pockets, which is why there are extra options on the outside. And it's lined, but in the respect that the lining is just this mesh. There isn't a second layer of that polycotton material. It's also not, as I mentioned, insulated, but this is perfect for a 3-layer system, and generally a smock like this will be part of an established 3-layer system where you have that base layer, a mid layer for insulation, and then your smock on the outside, which again harks back to that industrial agricultural side, that it was designed as a layer to be on the outside to help to protect everything that was underneath. So plenty of options for that. And that's just the main jacket. Getting through to the arms, so I mentioned you have some Cordura reinforcement on here. The Cordura reinforcement, there's some hook and loop on the bottom here, so you can open this up and you can put a pad into there. On both of the biceps, you also have another rollover. Oh no, this one isn't a rollover pocket. Or is it? No, it's not a rollover pocket, but I don't think it needs to be really on the bicep. So you have a pocket on here so that you can put stuff into there, and then there is also some hook and loop that you can put any insignias onto. Hopefully you'll notice I have the Finnish flag on this. So I mentioned this to Varusteleka, that I've done this in the past with others. I wear the US flag on a lot of US garments that I have, and I think this is going to be a tradition that I'm going to continue, and I will wear this Finnish flag with pride every time I wear this, and a salute to the people of Finland. I still haven't finished on the adaptability side, so also just in case you do get a little bit warm with this, then there are also some zips on the underside that you can open these out. And when you open these, let's get this up a little bit further. So there's no mesh on these. If I was to make any changes to this, it would just be to add some mesh to that underside of the armpit, just so that it just doesn't bellow around as much. I'm guessing Varusteleka has probably put some research into this, so it's just a personal choice, personal taste for me. I think that would have been nice, but you know, it certainly doesn't take anything away from this jacket itself. Cuffs on here, again, you know, you can cinch these down with hook and loop on there, which is great. If you want to wear this out in the cold in the winter and you want to open that so that you can put some gloves on, then you're fine. Last but not least, there is a very nice hood on this, a very heavy hood, which I think is great because you know it's on, which is a stupid thing to say. But as far as the zip will go all the way up here, and then there are additional kind of pull points so that you can pull this down around your face. There is a reinforced brim on this too, and then behind the head, just here, there's an additional cinch point so that if you're wearing something underneath this, then you can cinch it down around your head. It is helmet compatible. This is designed, and I suppose this is probably one of the things that I haven't mentioned so far, and that is that this is designed to be an outdoors military garment. I think with this one, it's very difficult for it not to look like a military garment, which is exactly what it is designed to be. If you're out and about and you want to wear this, you might get people thinking, "Are you in the military?" I don't know where I was going to go with that, but you know what I mean. But I think I tend to find again that a lot more military garments are being used nowadays by the outdoors community. If you live and work in a rural community like I do, wearing something like this just down to the pub or out around the village, it certainly doesn't get overlooked. It certainly doesn't get too many looks. But I don't care anyway. I just love this smock. Now the last point on the triangle for me is fit and finish, and this has it just perfectly for me. I really do like the cut of this. As I mentioned, so usually I'm a large, I generally go for a large. I did go for an extra large with this, mainly because, as I say, you know, I do have additional insulation layer underneath this. But it fits me just right. Now I'm 5'10", which is what? That's 176 centimeters. I'm roughly about 100 kilos, which is about 220 pounds. I have a 44-inch chest. So as far as kind of how this wears. It wears really nice. There's no sort of pinch to it as I'm doing that. Nothing out untoward you'd expect from a jacket like this. My range of movement whilst able to wear this is great. One of the difficulties that you get with some jackets is silly, simple little things like when you're trying to put, I'm looking at my backpack because it's over there, when you're trying to put your backpack on, you're kind of not wrestling with your backpack to get it on, you're wrestling with your shirt or your jacket or whatever it is, because you don't have that range of movement. None of that with this. I've tried this with a plate carrier over the top when I've done some skirmishing through the festive period. It's been great. It fits incredibly nicely. There are additional options as far as how you get the fit with this. So on the inside here through the waist section, what they use is this elastic where you have these small holes in them. Very similar to when your kids have the clothes when they're little and you pull it through and you kind of push the button through there. So that's through the waist, going down to the cuff or at the bottom of the garment. Historically, these would have had a piece of rope or some sort of kind of material to go through there. Varusteleka have opted for some bungee instead. I think I'm guessing they've probably done this on purpose, but the channels that these go through seem quite large, especially through here as well. So if you wanted to just go, do you know what, I'd rather have something that was seated in there that's a little bit tougher. You could easily take these out. You could pass some 550 paracord through there, or a similar tougher kind of, well, rope, and then you could have those so that you could tie those up as well. There's a lot of options for this that when you get it, depending on your size, depending on your use for this, that if you wanted to make sure that maybe it was a little bit too big, maybe even if it's just a little bit too small, that you could get it so that it fits just right. I think for the fit and finish, it kind of feels like it was made for me, which I think is one of the best things you can ever say about any garment. And that's what makes you want to wear it more, is that when you put it on, you're like, this feels tailored, it feels tailored for me. I want to wear it more often because it just feels like a second skin for me as well. Now, just in case you were curious, and maybe it hasn't become abundantly clear at this point, I love this. I really do love this. I think as far as all of the different garments that I've tested over the years, especially for outdoors kind of stuff, this has to be, I was going to say top 3, but this probably is my favourite jacket, my favourite smock that I've tested so far. Genuinely, absolutely love this. Testing it has been just stupidly easy, and I think that's one of the best things about being, you know, the niche that I do here on YouTube, is testing isn't a chore. You know, I put something on, I go for a walk, I enjoy the day and get back and go, I enjoyed that and the jacket worked really well. So the testing side is just so easy, and it's been very nice testing this out over the period that I've had this. And if you were considering specifically getting one of these, I can't recommend it enough, and yeah, I really do like this jacket. Now, they also have, Varusteleka also have another one, which I think is their wind stopper. So this one looking a little bit more kind of military themed. It's part of their Sarma range, but it's not a Sarma TST, so it's a little bit more kind of civilian-y. So I think we've spoken to Varusteleka, and they're going to send me one of those next, so I can do a little bit more of a comparison maybe between the two. But I have thoroughly enjoyed the last couple of pieces of content on smocks, so I'm going to continue this maybe as a little bit of a range of pieces of content. So the two that I've been looking at next is either the German Leo Kohler, I hope I'm saying that right, or we have the English Arctis Recon Smock. I think it's the Recon Smock. Was it the Ranger Smock? Anyway, let's hear below which one you would like to see next. I'll pick one of those up, get testing, and we'll bring some content out. Now, a huge thank you to the people at Varusteleka for sending this to me. I appreciate it. I appreciate you and your company, and highly recommend everybody to check the links below so that you can see more from them, more from their products. I have made some previous content on some other Varusteleka items, so I'll leave some of those links below as well. I'll also leave some of my social media links here on Moorlander EDC and my sister channel, Moorlander Tactical. But for now, as always, stay safe, stay Moorlander, and stay EDC. And we're all in it. Not Black Country, what's that? That's Birmingham way, isn't it? Oh shit, you can see all my stuff. Let's move that around. Just dancing in the woods. If the moment takes you, just dance. Dance like nobody's watching. Whether it's a tree, a squirrel, some naturists having sex in the bush, who cares? Just dance. Side here, which I've just dropped. God damn it. That I wanted to look at. And then I was talking to Varusteleka and Varusteleka. Damn it, I said it wrong. Now on the what's wrong with me? It takes me back to the old flashing days, but you know, I just haven't got the technique right because I keep letting go. Tit. Where was I? In 2024 with most, no, I need to say where I am first, you tit. Requested. This is the Varusteleka Smock. Now, shit, I'm gonna have to check it again. They have these turnover pockets. Now a turnover pocket is different. A turnover pocket is like an apple turnover or a pizza pocket, maybe. I don't know. An otter's pocket. It's been a while since I've had my hand in an otter's pocket. Thank you very much. I'm here all week. Sarma TST L4 Recon Smock. This is the Recon Smock because it's just a little bit easier. I'm gonna, damn, that was my phone. Freaking chicken needs a dick in. No, that's probably illegal. Oh, where was I? Sixth time lucky? I imagine this was probably a little bit of a long piece of content, so I appreciate everybody, all of the viewers that have managed to get to the end, and the bloopers. There's a lot to talk about this jacket because it is an incredibly good jacket. But that's it for now. I think that's it. So yeah, I think this is going out on the Wednesday. Have a lovely Wednesday. I hope you're all having a nice hump day. It's crap being back at work, but you know, 'tis what it is. You got to keep the wolves away from the door. Ciao. What's Finnish for goodbye? I should have checked. Comment below, then I'll know if you got to the end of the video, at the end of the content. What's Finnish? What is? I just burped. It was a hiccup, but it turned into a burp. What is Finnish for hello and goodbye? Yeah, cool. See you in a bit.